talked earlier in a blog about the Nikkormat FT, which is a great camera. It is a manual only camera, and by 1972 Nikon realised that the amateur was beginning to want something a little bit automated. Canon were coming out with slightly semi-automatic cameras, and Pentax would not be long. So in 1972 Nikon was one of the first to offer a camera which not only was manual, but it had an aperture priority on it as well. So here is the Nikkormat EL. It started life as a Nikkormat because Nikon had these two different labels. It had the professional label, which was Nikon, and its Nikkormat was used by amateurs. I say that there were a lot of professional photographers who used these as second bodies. So here we have a Nikkormat with a rather special 20mm lens, which is another story which I will tell you in another vlog. But this EL has all your normal manual shutter speed from B up to 1,000 of a second. Of course, on the Nikon F2, F3, you got up to 2,000 of a second, but for the amateur, 1,000 was quite good enough, I think. And then you've got this A. You still have the bunny ear lens. I will take the lens off. And to take the lens off, you simply move and then rotate it and lift off gently. If you look on the back, you can't see a battery compartment. Where is the battery? Well, the battery in the Nikon EL is rather strange. You have to lock the shutter, and you do that by this little lever on the side, and then obviously that locks up the mirror. You've got a little secret door which you have to open by pressing gently, and in there is the battery. So I think it's a PS625, better check on that. And you can easily get it out with a little screwdriver. I'm not going to get this one out now because it's quite happy in there. And that is where the battery goes, which is rather unusual. And then you simply put the shutter back, put the mirror back. The lens needs to be set at 5.6. Lever all the way over, click on, and then 3.5 on this lens, and you say click from the riders to the narrows, and that sets your shutter. Still on the Nikkormat, you needed to operate the shutter, operate the meter by bringing out the lever. This is the only design flaw with this camera. A lot of people, including myself, are left-eyed. Nikon seem to have forgotten this, and when you put the shutter, when you put it up to your left eye, you almost get blinded. However, with practice, you get used to it. In the actual window, you have, you see your shutter speeds, and the needle moves according to, so you set your aperture and then you see what shutter speed that is metering to. So for example, I've got quite a bright light here, but as I point it over there on 3.6, it's showing a meter reading of 125, and if I close it up, it goes down to 2 seconds. So aperture priority there. But then if we just press the button here, we can go back to manual. And of course we've got a meter, so it's a green lever is telling me whatever the shutter speed I've selected. So I've selected 125 here, and then the meter will come up when the aperture is correct. Very nice camera to use. Bit lighter than the early Nikkormat, but still quite heavy. Interesting, on the back we are now seeing the name Nikon. The later ones actually were called Nikon and not Nikkormats. They are a very nice camera to use. Oh, another different was the ISO, as we now call it, is up here on the top and not down on the bow of the lens. So in one sense, a little bit more of a modern camera, but still using a combination of levers and mechanics to do some of the automation. In my experience, they are highly reliable still. As I said, this one is probably nearly 40 years old, and yet it is still reliable. I've used it recently. On the end of this video, you will see some images I've taken with it. Slightly odd to open the door. To open the door of the camera, you actually need to, you've got a little black button here, which you press. That brings up the rewind handle, and then you can open the door. I will do that again because it's a bit strange. Press the little black lever here, that pops up, and the door there. Again, you need to check, if you're buying one of these, do check the seals. You've got a nice battery tester here, so we can see that that is coming on nicely there. A nice classic camera. Don't be afraid of the electronics, don't be afraid of the battery. Again, you can still use it manually, but in my experience, they work well. A nice, good camera to have a go with film. Try one.